So the goal is to find an article. You can pick any topic that you're interested in. You know, I'm all about student choice and making it engaging for you, and that will take making it something that's interesting for you. So you're going to go and pick some kind of intervention strategy. Like I showed you, like I am going to show you here at the end, there's a difference between intervention articles and just articles full of facts. So many people just write and write and write, and there's no intervention. You want to find one that clearly lays out there's a method. If you do not see a method section, you are on the wrong article. Should have, actually, I'm going to switch over real quick. I'm going to show you the article that I found that I'm using. Give me one second. Okay, so this is the article I found, and I'm going to show you how to get there here in a minute. I knew that this was a single case design, one, because if you go down to the results section, it took forever to get there. So if you go, you will see a chart that looks like this, the ones we've covered in our class. If it has a picture like this, you know it's single case design and it is an experiment. The other way that you know is if you see a method section. That's when you know you're in the right track. If you do not see a method section, you're in the wrong place. It'll have study design, something about treatment fidelity. The exact wording won't be the same because it's different per article, but the concepts will. This is your dependent variable. Your intervention is your independent variable. So that's when you know you're on the right track. So let me go back over to our other document. So you're going to pick something you like, as long as it's an intervention article. You're going to follow the steps on how to go online at the WKU library and find an article. I'm going to add that here in a minute so that I can walk you through step by step. Like I said, make sure the article is a true intervention study and it has to have some kind of single case or group design. It'll say methods. It should have a graph or a picture showing that if the experiment worked. Once you find the article and you know, okay, this is it, this is right, you're going to export it as a PDF. The way I want you to save it is going to have first authors. So the first author, I'm going to jump back and forth a little bit here. Okay, you will know the first author because they are first on the list of authors. And it's pretty simple, huh? So I'm going to put this name, Bollinger, sounds German, and this article is from Germany, so that would make sense. So that's going to be the first part. And then to get back over here. And then you're going to place an underscore and then the title of the paper. So I made an example. I like to model assignments for you all. This is the author's name, underscore, and that's the title of the article that I found. That is how you're going to save the PDF. Save it to a safe place like your desktop or a folder. And then you're going to go to your discussion post on Blackboard and you're going to post both the PDF and then this information. You can put it in a Word document if you feel better about that and post the PDF in the Word document, or you can post this directly to the discussion board. But please, this is one of those instances where we cannot plagiarize. Please use your own words in this activity. I have allotted 4 bonus points in this discussion post. So if you just do the basics, you'll get 10 points. But if you do the goal, purpose, question, and the basic steps for implementation, I will also give you extra bonus. So take advantage of that, especially sometimes the quizzes are hard. And I know we're trying to do some active, more engaging things, but then the quizzes really cover the textbook well. So trying to balance it out, but here's some extra points if you do this. like I said, I modeled the assignment. This is my title. And then I literally went through that article I just showed you. And this is exact, if I turned this assignment into myself, which I'm not going to do, I would get 100%. So if you follow this model, you will do great. Just make sure you have things in the right place, because that's the time you can lose points. And please do not plagiarize. I beg you. Just reword it, say it in a different way. So you can go through and look at each of these examples. I also placed the picture in the results. If you are doing single case, you can place the picture here. Let me go back over to my article. So I'm going to post this as my PDF, and you should be able to see my notes here. I made a note where every section is. If it's methods, if it's intervention, outcome, design, participants, I made a note of it because mostly all articles follow the same pattern. So if you can generally locate where mine are on my article, you'll most likely find them in a similar place on yours. Titles can be a little different, but the same idea is there. So let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to walk you through how to do the online portion. Okay, so you will click on this WKU Libraries tab right here. And then once you get to the page with your lovely, I still haven't determined exactly what he is, but he's pretty cool. Is it, I think, a topper, right? You all have to explain this to me sometime, but that's awesome. So right here, you're going to click on databases. You're going to click on E. Then you're going to click on EBSCOhost databases. And there are a ton of different options. If you want to go through and pick through them all, Academic Search Complete is good. APA Psych Info. This one is good. There's EBSCOhost. Honestly, what I would do though, so you could go through and select different ones. If you want to know the best ones, let me know. But you can also click select, deselect all. I typically do that so that I don't miss anything. So I just click this one, select all, push continue. And now you have this. So you can type a bunch of different things in. I went in earlier and did this. So what I did and what I typically do, you can add different things in the field. So I chose reading. You could choose math, you could choose science, you can choose behavior, choose any topic that you want there. Then you can choose the age group that you're interested in. And I want this to be tailored to you so that you can actually use it in your future. It could be, high school. The nice thing about this is if, let's say you have high school, or allows you to broaden your horizons. So I always put or and see what it gives me. So you could click that, or secondary school. And the last line, I recommend that you write interventions or strategies or best practices. So once you type all of that in, you can click search, and you can tailor it to yourself. That's fine. And you'll have a ton of options come up. Before, so you have 5,000 options. You'll want to narrow that down. You want to click full text, scholarly journals. You want to move the time frame. Let's do 10 years. So it started at 2010. And that means you're going to get some really good quality stuff coming up. So it's still a lot, but you don't have to, you can kind of scroll down and look at different options. So you'll notice that a lot of these you will not want to use. They are not all single case or group designs. Some of them are just articles that they just talk about things. So this one says observation of a classroom. That's not a good sign. This one is let's see, database decision-making in reading interventions. So you have different options, but none of them are looking right. If you see pictures at the bottom that look like this, you can guarantee that that's a single case design. So sometimes that's easier to look for it and then click on it and just double check that it is a single case. So examining between group and within groups effects of peer-assisted reading strategies intervention. Okay, so that's good. I wanted to know reading. It is with third grade students though, and I did want high school. So if at that point you say, well, I wanted high school only, I'm gonna back out of this, you can go look for other articles. For the sake of time on this, I'm just gonna go with it. So I can tell it's single case. So I'm gonna go to PDF full text. And it looks like a good article. So I'm gonna click on download PDF. And from that point, you can click File, Export as PDF, save it to your computer, and that's how you're going to upload it to the discussion post. So remember, export as PDF. So if you can do this, this tells me that you know how to digest evidence-based practices. And this will go a long way in your career. And it means that you're going to be a good consumer of research and that your students should be getting really good quality work. And it is not from Pinterest. So I applaud you for doing this because it's going to make you a really great teacher. Also, I wanted to remind you that you do have a quiz this week. Next week, you do not have video lecture and you do not have a quiz. So next week is going to be fantastic. So it is a little bit heavy this week, but I am rewarding you with no quiz and no lectures next week. You will have your assignment for the group project assigned to you that you can start working on, and you can work on your field hours next week as well. So thanks for continuing your great work. Keep it up. Let me know if you have questions and keep doing your best. I appreciate it. Have a great week. I have already, I'm going to switch screens because I've already pulled this up prior to this moment. And I have highlighted the main points that we're going to need. So I recommend that you do this too because it'll make it a lot easier for you. Abstract holds a lot of really good information right off the bat. It tells you what the purpose of the study was. It typically will tell you what the intervention was. It tells you I always go to the abstract to find out what the results were because it says it in a very concise way. Right here it says test scores were conducted on the data with both resulting in significant positive effects on the reading competence of intervention students. So it worked. So I could write, please do not copy things from these articles. I'm going to turn the plagiarism checker on. So please don't do that. Reword it in your own when you do the discussion post. So just make sure to do that. Then I went through, remember that the first part of an article is typically the background. It's considered the literature review. So for the purposes of what we're doing, you will not really need to look at any of this. You can skip down, and then it says something, it won't always be the same, but this one says current study and hypothesis. Boom, that's exactly what we need. So this gives us a summary of what this study is all about. And then it tells me right there, the reading intervention tested in the study was developed by the first author. So this intervention was something created new. It has not been used before. And it will talk about it more here. Let's see, we decided to design an intervention tailored to the needs. So you could just call it reading intervention created by first author. For third grade students, that would be fine. It says here that actually the newly designed reading intervention is called Rafi and his friends. So that's what you would write, is Rafi and his friends author designed reading intervention. That's all I would need. They did put their hypothesis here that third grade students who participated in the intervention would demonstrate stronger improvement. So they think it's going to work. You know, you never know till after, but they think it'll work. You can see right here, they used a single case intervention and they used A-B design, which we talked about. It's baseline and intervention only. And they talk a little bit more about that. The thing that you'll start learning to do with these articles, you learn to skim, because it'll take a long time to read the whole thing, but look for main points. Most articles are laid out in this exact same way. So they're going to first start talking about what the purpose is, the hypothesis, what the intervention is, and how they designed the study. They talk about how they're going to analyze the data. And there'll be a section called methods. And this is where you're going to find out what your setting is for the article and who your participants are. So your participants are 140 third grade students. Your setting will be 5 elementary schools in and around mid-sized town in central Germany. So this is another fact that you could put with your participants. You could say 140 third grade students, 47% were girls, and then the other percentage were boys. This talks more about the design. Let's see, reading competence measure. See, you'll start to see this, the intervention was called, there will be an intervention section as well if you didn't pick it up at the top part. So the intervention called Rafi and Friends. So you're going to put that, that's your IV, independent variable. And it gives you some information, but you don't need to write that in. Let's see here. So that's a lot of information about the independent variable. You can read all of that, but you don't have to. The outcome variable, as you can see, is the reading competence, because they're trying to see if that decreases or increases, so you know that that's their outcome that they're looking for. And this also, as you can see, this is the results section. Usually the last sentence or two of the results section will tell you, and it says that reading competence decreased slightly during baseline and increased significantly during intervention. This means that it worked. And that also was in the abstract, so you can pull from there as well. And discussion is nice, but I don't typically look at that. You learn very quickly with research articles to learn how to digest information, that you typically start with the abstract, you go to current study and hypothesis, talk about what's going on. You go to the methods to find out the participants and the setting. Study design is helpful, and then it goes into independent, dependent, and then you can just scroll down till you get to results, and the results will tell you if it worked or not. So hopefully this helps. You only need to find one article, and let me go back to the actual PowerPoint. You need one article, and then you need to find these components within the article.